Okay, you are going to start off with 2 chunks of clay. Notice I have a mat underneath and a canvas on top. This is so that the clay does not go through onto the table, and if I would just use the mat, then my clay is going to get stuck to that. It will not stick to the canvas. So what I'm going to do with my 2 chunks of clay is this is going to be the buns for the hamburger. So you're going to roll them into a circle. So you can use your hands to start shaping it into a circle, and then you can roll it on the canvas. Make sure you're holding your hand there so your canvas doesn't roll all around, and make 2 balls of clay. Try to make sure the 2 balls that you made are around the same size. This one's a little bigger than that one, so I'm going to cut some of it off to make it a little smaller. And then I'm going to reshape that. Now they're roughly the same size. You are going to make both of these into pinch pots. So how to make a pinch pot is you have your circle, and then you're going to insert your thumb into the middle of that, and you're going to use your fingers on the outside to start to spread it out. Now, it's starting to crack a little if you look at that. So that means it needs some moisture or some water because it's starting to dry out. So I will add water. If it cracks apart while you're making it, that's okay. We can fix it like mine just did there. Just keep working and spreading it out. Now this is going to be your bun, so think about how you want to make it. You don't want this to be super thick when you're making it. And if it starts cracking, just spray some water on there, though you don't want a lot of water. Okay, so I have my 2 buns made. As you can see, this one cracked a bunch. So I'm going to get some slip, which is some mushed up clay and water. And I'm going to score or mark this on both sides of where the crack happened. And I'm going to put some slip on both sides. Now, this is like glue for clay. If you don't slip and score things together, they're most likely not going to stay together very well. So I'm just going to smooth those edges now. Okay, so here's my bun. It's a little rough. So what I might do is I might take one of the clay tools and maybe start peeling some off to smooth it. And save the extra clay. Start making a pile for it. Don't throw it away. That's waste. We can recycle the clay. And if you want to, you can form this a little more too. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure that you're getting your bun in the shape that you want it to be. I'm going to flatten mine a little just like that so it looks more like a bun and less like a little bowl. So there's the top. And now I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, this started splitting here, so I'm going to slip and score that in there. Okay, so now I have both sides of the burger rolls completed. If you want to, you can either draw some details in here, like maybe the little sesame seeds on the burgers, but I don't like sesame seeds, so I don't want that on there. So I'm just going to smooth this over so you can draw some details on there. And if you don't like how it looks, you can take some slip and smooth over it. So I'm going to set these both off to the side. I am going to write my initials on one that's going to be the bottom. So I'm going to flatten this one so it can stand nicely. And then I'm going to write my initials on the bottom here. So S, M, M. So I'm going to take both of my rolls and carefully place them in my bag. I'm going to leave it open slightly so it can start drying out, but I don't want it to dry out too quick because then that will crack the clay. So if it's shut a little, but not tightly, that's fine. Now, we need to make the toppings or the insides of our burgers. So I just think I want a burger. Maybe I'll do some lettuce, I'm not quite sure yet, and some bacon bits and cheese. So I'm going to show you how to make these details. First, you're going to get some stacks of clay like this. If you have some left over from your pinch pots that you made for the buns, you can use those. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this rolling pin and you can flatten them out. You want to make them thinner. So like the thickness of your pinky, maybe a little bit smaller. And if it starts drying out, I'm going to spritz it with water. If you get it too wet that your rolling pin isn't getting any grip on there, flip it over to the other side because that canvas will start absorbing some of that. Okay, these are too small for my burgers, so I'm going to save these for details of like the bacon, or maybe I'll add make some into some cheese. So I'm going to take a bigger piece for my burger. spray it. And I'm going to start rolling it out. Change the directions that you're rolling, and you want this to have the same thickness most of the way around. Now, I have my burger here. I need to cut it out, so I'm going to pull my bun back out of my bag so I can see roughly the size I want my burger to be. And I'm going to take a clay tool and mark how big it is. You don't have to do this, but don't come complaining if it doesn't fit right then on there. So now here's my burger. I'm going to now take another tool. I can take the same one or another one, and I can slice through this clay. So I'm pressing hard and slicing through to create my burger. Save this clay, the extra, for maybe some more details. Now I'm going to smooth these edges to make them look more how I want to. I don't want it to be perfectly round like that. So I'm going to use my slip. And then I'm going to add a whole bunch of details on here for my burger. Now I'm not going to add a bunch in the middle because I'm going to add stuff on here. So if I do a bunch in the middle, you're not going to see it. I'm going to do the sides though, because you're definitely going to see the sides. So I have my burger there. I want to put some cheese on it. So here is some cheese. I'm going to cut it into a square because cheese is mostly in a square. Okay, once you have this the way you want it to, or if it's at the end of the class, it will always go in a plastic bag to dry, or so it doesn't dry. So I have all 3 of my pieces in my plastic bag, and I'm going to seal it shut tightly so it doesn't start drying out. If you leave it open, it will start drying out, and if you're not done and it starts drying out, then you're not going to be able to add more details on here. If you want, you can ask me to make sure that you sealed it nice and tight. I'm going to put this on the shelf. Have fun, my most awesome artist.